Alright guys, today we're looking at the Asus 901 Eee PC. This is an addition to the ever-expanding line of Asus Eee PCs, or as I call them, the Eee PCs. These things are getting crazy. There's so many of them, it's getting a little confusing. So before I even tell you about this one in particular, which again is the 901, I'm going to go over the history of the Asus Eee PC, because it's a little bit confusing. They keep on coming out with these new model numbers, making the screen bigger. You know, everything's changing. So let's start from the beginning. The original one, it was called the Surf. It was a 7-inch screen, and it came with a 2 GB and a 4 GB solid state drives. Those were originally with Linux, later were available with XP, and they had 512 of RAM. A little bit later after that, you might remember they had the 8 GB one, which is still solid state, XP and Linux, but it upgraded you to 1 gig of RAM. So pretty much those were the originals. Those are 7-inch screens. They had like the borders right here, so you couldn't really see it all. And then the Surf was no webcam, and then the regular one had the webcam. Now, after that, you might remember they came out with the Eee 900. Now, what happened with the 900 is you stayed with 1 gig of RAM, you went to the bigger 8.9-inch monitor, and then your hard drive options went from 12, 16, and 20 GB, which were all solid state, and those depended on which version you got, whether it was the Linux version or the XP version. Now, that brings us to this one. This is one of the later ones. This is fantastic. This is really cool. It's an 8.9-inch. It's the 901. Now, what happens with this one? What do you change? Well, the first and most important thing is you get Intel's Atom processor in here, which is really cool. You get the Atom chipset, so that's going to increase the speed of everything. That's a 1.6 gigahertz processor, so I mean you can definitely run Linux on it, and you can absolutely run Windows XP on it, you can definitely run both. It gives you that much more power. So if you were a little annoyed at the original Eee PCs, you know, they're kind of slow on certain things, this one's much quicker with the Atom processor. Now on top of that, you get end-draft wireless, which is extremely cool. Of course, you know about end-draft, multiple in, multiple out, super long range, great bandwidth. It does 300 megabits per second, and it also gives you up to 300 meters of range, which is almost 1,000 feet. So you got that. Now, what else does this thing have besides that? Well, I'll tell you what, it has a better battery. This thing has the first 6-cell battery in here. This thing will go for 8 hours. That's right, 8 hours. I had a hard time accepting that when I first heard it, but it will go for 8 hours with the battery. It's got some new technology called their Super Hybrid Engine. It's sort of like most real, you know, big laptops have, where you can do like a power save mode, and you can do save power, high performance, and in this one you have super performance, which is all out. So if you're just going to do something that's, you know, you're out on the street and you want to save your battery, you're on a plane on a long trip, you put it in save power mode. If you want to do regular stuff, high performance, and if you're going to look at pictures or movies, then of course you can go to super performance also when you're plugged in and you don't really care too much about your battery. Alright, let me take you guys on a quick walk around of this thing. Let me take you on a tour. This is kind of like watching checking out a used car. It's like kicking the tires. Let's start off over here. If you look over here, you got a Kensington lock, you got 10100 Ethernet, one of your 3 USB 2.0 ports, and then of course your mic and headphones output jacks and input jacks. Switching over to the front, nothing really on the front, no latch, it just kind of opens up on its own. And then onto this side, starting off over here, your multi-card reader, which is a fantastic little item to have on a computer like this. You can look at all your pictures. This is great if you're on vacation. You want to see if the photo came out nicely, you get to see it on a bigger screen than the one on your camera. If you're a photographer, you can take this thing with you. It's great. 2 USB 2.0s, that's the other 2 of your 3. Your VGA output, which is very useful. This thing actually has a desktop mode. If you want to use it as a desktop, it'll take over, switch the resolution over, it'll let you use your keyboard and your mouse. It's great, very useful actually. And then of course your power, which is also very useful. And right over here, you got a 1.3 megapixel webcam, which is going to be great, again, for your instant messaging or web chats, Skype, whatever it may be. Fantastic little device, and it looks really good even at night. So great little webcam on there. Now, you guys kind of know the specs on this thing already, but in the end, what's really important about it is that it's faster. It does run the Linux, it does have the solid state, so you put those two together and what do you get? You get a really fast boot time, you get a computer that loads everything very quickly actually. For being, you saw how fast it just came back from a hibernation. It's very quick, very powerful. You know, it's available in 2 colors, white and black, and so if you need something that's ultra portable, you want to Skype, you want to email, you want to do the web all at the same time, you want to have long range with the end-draft wireless, and you need lots of battery life, up to 8 hours for long flights or whatnot, this is the perfect little device for you. It's not really a laptop, it's not really you know, a smartphone, it's everything in between. It's just a little netbook. That's what they're called. They're called netbooks. So you combine the size and the power of this thing and you have the perfect traveling companion. As usual, if you have any questions on this product or any of the other products, go ahead and email me at the email below. I'll see you guys next time. For more information on the Asus Eee PC 901 edition, go to compusa.com and type in A455-8001 into the search box. Or you can call us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 1-800-COMP-USA.